Hi everyone, I'm going to demonstrate one of the techniques that I was showing at my Stampin chat group last Thursday, and some people missed it, so I thought I'd do a video to show you this technique which Sarah and Shelley demonstrated to us at the online on stage convention last November. So it's a scrappy strip technique, but it's with double-sided tape in between the strips, and then you put the gilded flakes in between. So this is one card using some of the designer series paper from the this is the suite. The designer series paper is called the Fine Art Floral designer series paper, and this is from the Fine Art Floral suite, which is my favourite suite in the whole catalogue. So I'll just show you, this is one card using it's Flirty Flamingo, I think, and Poppy Parade, and then this is another one where I've put this the cardstock vertically in the portrait in this card, and I've used the Touch of Ink stamp set there. And then you've got another piece of designer series paper there, the one that's Night of Navy with So Saffron and Calypso Coral, and then you've got one there which is in Smoky Slate. So basically your cardstock is a typical card base, which is 5 7/8 of an inch by 4/8 of an inch. And then your next piece is going to be 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. The piece of cardstock that you're going to stick the designer series paper to is 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. And the designer series paper, which I'm using the Smoky Slate, is going to be 4 7/8 by 3 1/2. And we're going to cut this into 3 strips, which are going to be 3 1/2 by 1 5/8. And they're going to be cut diagonally. I'll just show you that in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to take my trimmer, and I've got my piece of designer series paper, which is 4 7/8 by 3 1/2, and I'm going to cut it first of all into 3 strips. I'll just move that over a little bit, which are going to be 1 5/8 of an inch each. So 1, and then the next one 1 5/8 of an inch, like that. And then I'm going to cut them diagonally. So the first one I'm going to tilt this way so that it's going across like that, and then I know I want to tilt this one that way and that one that way. So that's going to be the first one, and I'm going to keep the papers so that one I'm going to tilt that way. I want to keep them in order. That one's going to be like that, and then this one's going to go like the first one, like that. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so those are my strips. Here's my piece of cardstock that I'm going to adhere them to, and this is tear and tape, which we sell £6 something. I think it's really, really good double-sided tape because it doesn't have any static to stick to you, and it's really easy to take the top off. Sarah and Shelley worked from both ends at the same time, or rather Sarah did. Sarah Douglas, our CEO, was the one who did the demonstration. I'm going to just work from one. Let me just, yeah, I'm on camera there. Hi, Helen. So, and you saw this the other night, Helen, so apologies for a repeat. So that's the first piece there, and I'm going to take my first piece of designer series paper. I put that centre for the camera, and then I just attach this piece like that. I'm just going to put that in the bin to get rid of it, otherwise we end up with a big mess on our desk. So put the second piece of tear and tape alongside. Now I've sized this designer series paper so that there's about 1/8 of an inch gap between the strips. That's how I worked it out, but I just eyeball it. Some people might like to measure it, but I'm just going to eyeball it. And so there's the first piece, and I'm going to put some more tear and tape on like that. It is good fun to do this. You do kind of get into a rhythm of doing it like you do with scrappy strip cards. Put that one on like that. The next one. So I think I'd find it really hard doing this with the red tape that we used to have because of getting all the bits stuck. Let's that piece. I'm going to trim this off at the end. Trim the pieces at the side at the end. Okay. So I've been out in the slush this morning to the shops to get some meat and get some burger buns. We're having homemade burgers tonight. So I was careful where I put my feet. It was a bit slushy out there. If it freezes tonight, it's going to be an ice rink. So just be careful tomorrow if it does freeze tonight. So we actually had some snow in the Wirral today. That's something. Don't usually get snow in the Wirral, or if we do get snow, as the people that live in the Wirral know, it doesn't last for very long. My kids used to get very disappointed when they were younger because the snow didn't last very long. Now for the last one, I'm going to be putting 2 lots of the double-sided tape down because obviously I want it to stick to the edge as well. So I'm going to put that piece down as well. You can actually just put a ruler against to tear it off, but I'm using scissors today. I forgot about that, so I'm just doing it this way. So that's that piece, and I'll just throw that in the bin. It's good to get your pieces in the bin as you're working along. So I've actually slightly overestimated. I should have left smaller gaps between this, but it doesn't matter. It's going to work out okay. So I'm just going to trim off the edge there. Trim off some of these sticky pieces as well, because I don't really want them. If I just turn them over, that should be fine. Okay, so there I've got my double-sided tape. And now I'm going to take my box that I keep. So these are our Gilded Flakes, and usually you use them with heat and stick powder. I'll do another video for that. I keep them in the box because I've used quite a bit already and I've still got a full tub. So they really are obviously very light. So this is my leftovers, my leftover box, I call it. So I'm just going to put that in there, and you can see the flakes going every which way. Now I usually wear a mask when I'm doing this because these flakes are very, very thin. So I'm just going to put my mask on, and I'm just going to pick out a few and just place them, that's probably enough, and just rub them onto the double-sided tape. I'm just going to rub it in because I do want it to be well covered. Before I've used white cardstock, but this time I decided to use, I think it's Daffodil Delight, or it might be crushed curry. So I'm just going to, you can see that they're very, very flaky. So I'm just going to make sure I've got quite a bit on before I start sponging it off. So you can take it off either with a brush or with a sponge. Now I will wash my hands after I've done this because obviously some of the flakes will have gone on my fingers and everything. Before I just sponged it on, but then watching another demonstrator video I realised that if you actually rub it on with your finger, you do get more gold on there. So there we go. Now I can just use that. So this is 1/4 of one of our Stampin sponges. So I'm just going to rub it off with that. And it does come off really easily. So just get off the excess like that. And just take it off the side as well. And make sure you've got a clear desk so that you can just brush it off into your box after you finish. So I'm just going to put my box below my desk and just brush off the excess into my box like that. And most of it has come off. I can just clean the rest with a sponge. And I just put just going to carefully put the top on here because you just have to be careful. On the online convention, on stage convention, Sarah and Shelley dropped their box with all the flakes in and they went all over the floor. Apparently they didn't show us where it was going, but it was going all over. So there it is in an ice cream box. And here you have the Gilded Flakes there. So you can see the lovely glimmer it's got. So now I'm going to take my Stampin' seal and I'm just going to turn it over and just use my Stampin' seal like that to attach it to this is Coastal Cabana, and then I'm going to attach it to Pretty Peacock. One more down there. And I'm not sure how I'm going to finish it off yet. I just turn it over and give it a good press And you can see that that one looks quite different actually from the smoky slate one. This one I did a bit shorter, and it just makes such a difference depending on, I'll just take my mask off now, depending on what background you put it on. So that's the designer series paper with the sort of smoky slate background. That one's on Pretty Peacock, that one's on Smoky Slate. And then this one is the designer series paper with Mossy Meadow and Calypso Coral and Night of Navy. And that's on Pool Party. Hi Caroline, good to see you. Hi Amy, good to see you too. This one is on Lovely Lipstick, which is the colour that retired last year, and Mossy Meadow. And then you can see the same designer series paper with some of the flowers from the stamp set, and that hummingbird is from a celebration set, which you get free if you spend £90. It's a double stamp set, and this is on Petal Pink cardstock, and that's the Lovely Lipstick there. So that's that card. I'll be doing Facebook Live using the Gilded Flakes again. This card shows how I've used one of our masks, so that's one that's retired, but this is one is currently available. So I used a mask, used Versamark, and then put the Gilded Flakes on. And this is two of the flowers from the stamp set, the Art Gallery stamp set, which I can show you here in the catalogue. If anybody would like a catalogue, a new catalogue, a celebration brochure, just contact me and I'll send you one out in the post. So those are those two, and then this one I used the Rooted in Nature stamp set from the annual catalogue with the leaves. So these are really more cards. These would be really good for men actually, I think, because they're more male colours. This is Garden Green and Mint Macaron, and this is Early Espresso with Crumb Cake. And then I cased this one from one of our artisan design team demos. You can see the Gilded Flakes there. I've stamped on the flower with the second stage stamp using Versamark and then heat and stick powder. And after you've heated the heat and stick powder, you put the Gilded Flakes on. And then here it was tear and tape. So I put tear and tape just there and then put the Gilded Flakes on. And I put some little gold embellishments there as well. So hopefully I'll be demonstrating this card and one of these cards or similar ones in a future video. So I'll just show you the different things you can use the Gilded Flakes with. So that shows you with, I'll just take that off. That's Stampin' Seal that I've used. That's our tape runner. So I've just put the Stampin' Seal down, and that's our tear and tape, and then you just put it in the box, rub in the Gilded Flakes, and you get these lovely stripes. You could do those diagonally across a card and then put a sentiment on it. This is using Tombow. I'll show you this one first. That was Squiggles of Tombow, which is our wet adhesive, which has got silicone in it. So when it dries sticky. So I actually dried this with the heat tool, and then I put the gold flakes on it. And actually you could write with the Tombow and then dry it until it gets tacky and then put the gold flakes on. This, I'm not so pleased with that one. I don't think I got that right. But basically I put the Tombow onto the flower, dried it with the heat tool, and then put the Gilded Flakes on. And this is one of our dies from the Well Said die set. And basically I just took, when I'd die cut out Happy, here's the Versamark that we have in the catalogue, which is clear ink that takes longer to dry, and you can apply embossing powder to it. So I just put that face down and got lots of Versamark on. And then did it on a silicone sheet. So that's one of our silicone sheets. And I put the heat and stick powder on, and then I heated it, and then I put the gold flakes on. So you can actually do die cuts as well like that. So thanks for watching this morning, and I'll try and get around to doing another video with some of the other Gilded Flakes techniques. They're really fun to use. I do recommend perhaps a bit of ventilation and wearing a mask if you're using them, which is probably a good idea with embossing powder anyway. So I hope you'll get out your heat tool, get out your embossing powder, and have some fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.